Maria binti Jazain. My ID number is BME 2403007. So today I will talk about inflation in Malaysia, focusing on the forecast for 2025. First, what is inflation? Inflation is the general increase in the price of goods and services over time. When inflation happens, the value of money falls. For example, maybe last year with RM10 we could buy 3 items in a supermarket. But today, with the same RM10, we may only get 2 items. So, inflation simply means the cost of living becomes higher and our money has less purchasing power. Okay, so next, I'll present about the second slide. In Malaysia, Bank Negara has forecast that inflation in 2025 will be between 1.5% and 2.3%. This means prices are expected to rise, but at a low and stable rate. It is good because it shows the economy is healthy, without putting too much burden on people. Okay, so why is this important? For consumers, stable inflation not heavily affected. For businesses, it helps them plan their costs and investment with more confidence. And for the government, it allows better control of policies. If we look at this graph, we can see the trend. Inflation in 2022 and 2023 was higher, but in 2025, it is forecasted to remain low and stable within the range of 1.5 to 2.3%. This shows that Malaysia's economy is moving toward stability. In conclusion, inflation is basically the rise of prices, but the forecast for 2025 is a positive sign for Malaysia's consumers, businesses, and the government. That's all from me, and thank you for listening.
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Ain, and today I will be presenting about how low inflation influenced Bank Negara Malaysia decision to cut interest rate. In 2025, Malaysian inflation rate is expected to remain low between 1.5 and 2.3%. This means that prices of goods and services are quite stable and there is not much pressure from rising costs. Because of this stable situation, Bank Negara can focus more on supporting economic growth rather than controlling inflation. When inflation is low, it usually shows that people are spending less and the demand in the economy is not too strong. To stimulate the economy, Bank Negara Malaysia may decide to cut the overnight policy rate or OPR. A lower interest rate means it is cheaper for consumer and business to borrow money. As a result, people will buy more houses, cars, and other goods, where companies will invest more in new projects and create job opportunities. For example, in July 2025, Bank Negara Malaysia cut the OPR to 2.75% as a preemptive step to support the economy amid global uncertainty. This decision showed that when inflation is stable and low, the central bank can safely reduce the interest rate to encourage spending and maintain the economic growth. In conclusion, low inflation gives Bank Negara room to cut interest rate, which help to boost borrowing, increase investment, and keep Malaysian economies strong. Just that from me in this question. So thank you.
For my slide, I would like to discuss about should government provide subsidies and cash handouts if inflation remains low. If inflation is expected to remain low, government should reduce subsidies and cash handouts without maintaining them fully. This approach helps balance short-term social stability and long-term fiscal responsibility. In short term, continuing targeted subsidies is still necessary to support low-income households who may face high living costs despite low inflation. Such assistance helps to maintain domestic spending, which remains a key driver of Malaysia's economic growth. According to Bank Negara Malaysia, the economy grew 4.4% in quarters 2 2025, supported by strong household consumption and investment activity. However, in the long term, keeping a large-scale subsidies can burden government's finance and reduce funds for developed sectors such as education and infrastructure. Moreover, constant reliance on aid may distort market efficiency and reduce people's motivation to produce productivity. Therefore, the government should maintain only targeted assistance in the short term, while gradually phasing out broad subsidies to ensure sustainable economic growth and fiscal sustainability in long run.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Fatima Ifa binti Nur Halim, and today I will be discussing question number 3, which is discuss how a lower inflation rate affects A. Customer purchasing power, B. Business investment decisions, and C. Government fiscal policies. There are 4 points under customers' purchasing power. A lower inflation rate means prices of goods and services rise more slowly. When wages stay steady while prices increase gradually, consumers' real income improves, allowing Malaysians to buy more essentials like food, utilities, and transport with the same income. Stable prices also boost customer confidence, while making people more willing to spend on leisure or non-essential items, supporting steady domestic demand, a key driver of Malaysia's 2025 growth. A lower inflation encourages savings, as the value of money is better preserved. In contrast, high inflation erodes purchasing power and discourages savings. Businesses' investment decisions. For businesses, lower and stable inflation means better predictability and reduces uncertainty about future costs and returns. With slower price increases, companies face lower cost pressures on raw materials and wages, improving profit margins. This stability boosts investment confidence. Allowing firms to plan long-term projects like digital upgrades or facility expansion more accurately. The interest rate environment also matters, with Bank Negara Malaysia lowering OPR to 2.75%. Borrowing becomes cheaper. This encourages private investment, particularly in ICT, services, and construction. Moderate inflation helps maintain export competitiveness, especially in Malaysia's key sectors like E&E and tourism. However, if inflation falls too low, it could signal weak demand, making businesses cautious and expanding due to stagnant revenue expectations. Government fiscal policies. A lower inflation rate also shapes how the government manages spending, taxes, and debt. With stable prices, fiscal pressure decreases. Subsidy and welfare costs grow more slowly, helping control the fiscal deficit. This allows the government to channel spending toward growth-supportive measures, such as infrastructure, digitalization, and SME incentives, without risking overheating. Lower inflation and a reduced OPR also means manageable debt costs, freeing up funds for development and social programs. Meanwhile, tax revenue and consumption grow steadily, enabling more consistent fiscal planning. Overall, the mix of low inflation, resilient demand, and supportive monetary policy allows Malaysia to sustain growth while keeping prices stable.